Should you fire your care provider? Okay, so I have some deep thoughts on this. As a Scorpio, I typically walk the line between light and dark as like part of my nature. And I have a lot of insight into toxic people just based on my own experiences in life and what I've dealt with. So I bring this into my coaching with my clients in figuring out whether or not they should keep their current care provider when they start to feel that they're being pressured into something versus when it's time to actually walk. Because there is actually a difference between a care provider you can that you can work with, even if they might have some values that don't quite align with yours, or they have some fears come up, or they have some restrictions in how they prefer personally to practice. That doesn't automatically make them a care provider that you can't work with. So the example that I'm going to give is between two different OBs, well, technically a doctor and an OB. And here's the difference. Here's how you can really tell. In one case, my friend Jenny, she saw this doctor who was very much my way or the highway. Like, there was no room for discussion. He just felt that he knew what was best. And when she dared to question him, he ended up making her experience a living hell in the hospital because it was to punish her. This is a toxic person. These are the kinds of people that I basically say about the system: evolve or get the fuck out. So these are the kinds of people that I say don't hire them, fire them, make sure that they are out of work, because if they realize that they can't actually get work, they'll go and seek a different profession where they can still feel like they're in control and the king. But maternity care has no place for arrogant care providers who will not listen to you and your instincts. Birth is an instinctual process. You don't need that arrogance, especially when you're trying to have a physiological birth. Yeah, maybe that arrogance is good if it's somebody who happens to just perform cesareans over and over and over, because surgery and emergencies, that's what they're good for. But in a physiological birth, that's not what you need. You need somebody compassionate. So there's a difference between a toxic person and toxic traits. We all have toxic traits. We all have jealousy. We all have arrogance. We all have things that when they come up, we're like, how dare you question my expertise? I know more than you. And we get defensive. It's just part of the human condition. That doesn't mean that we're toxic. So I like to bring the example of toxic people as like with narcissism. First of all, because it's something I'm very, very familiar with. And second, because it just makes the most sense. It's the best metaphor that I can have for this. So a narcissistic person is someone who is incredibly toxic and probably won't get better. It's very rare for a narcissistic person to get better. And 1/3 of care providers are narcissists. They're attracted to that. They're attracted to power. And they allow that to basically show them more of who they are. So these kinds of people are the ones that if you dare question them, they're going to be abusive to you. Not push back. There's a difference between pushing back and being abusive. A pushback is, I'm not comfortable with this, and I'm now going to try to tell you all the reasons why. Abusive is when after they tell you all the reasons why they'd rather you do something and you choose not to do it anyway, instead of accepting that, they then decide to teach you a lesson. That's the difference. So this is why I tell my clients at the very beginning of their pregnancy when they're hiring the care provider, I say, you've got to go in and basically pull down that mask. See if what you're holding in your hand is a mask. Because this is what I learned to do in a narcissistic abusive relationship is when I started to finally get out, I was deliberately looking to see if that was actually him or a mask. And the same thing you can do with your care provider is just every time you displease them by setting a boundary. It's as simple as saying, thank you. I appreciate the information that you've given me on this, and I've decided I'm still not going to do it. We can revisit this later. That acknowledges that they have some expertise, that they may have a different perspective than you, but it also allows you to stay in your power. a true leader in the maternity care space, someone that we actually want in there, who is going to evolve, who's going to take what you say, and maybe they're uncomfortable with it, but they recognize that it's not their decision, it's yours, and they're not going to punish you for it. Maybe they might suggest some things that make them feel comfortable. And again, you're not obligated to do that. You can just empathize with them. You can communicate with them in a way that says, I see you. I see where you're coming from. I honor that you're scared. This is my decision. I'm not here to protect your feelings. I understand you need to sit with this for a bit. I do not hold you responsible for my decisions. There will be nothing that's going to negatively affect you if we go my route. And if I need to consult you on it, I will. But ultimately, I'm driving here and you're in the passenger seat, just basically guiding me, but not controlling things. This does not work with a narcissist. This does not work with a toxic person. A toxic person does not like that. A toxic person wants you to see them as the be-all, end-all, all-knowing, all-powerful God person who can do no wrong and who you just follow blindly. So that's the difference. You want to displease your care provider. You want to stand in your power. You want to show at the very beginning that you're in the driver's seat and see how they react to that. If they believe that they're in the driver's seat and they are not willing to give you your power, then fire them. Don't even hire them in the first place. Those are the ones that need to evolve or GTFO. All right, that's all I have to say today. I'll talk to you soon.